Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Fishing to the West. I'm your host, John B. And today I'm going to do something a little bit different. Actually, I'm going to be getting a little personal here. I'm going to be talking about something that came across me just a couple of days ago. And I wanted to discuss it. It's one of those things where I kind of see it, and I keep thinking about it, I'm just like, I have to make a video on it. So I decided to actually make a video on this, and I want to get your guys' opinion on this. And now before you continue watching this video real quick, I want you guys to go down to the link below or just type in FishStrong.com, www.fishstrong.com. Check out the website. Read some of Hal White's blogs, some of his personal posts, and read like 3 or 4. I think read like the 30%er, read the Facebook posts, read some of those. Try to get as far as you can before watching this video, and come back and continue right at this point. Now, before I begin, I want to let you know that I am in no way, shape, or form angry or upset or just in just a spiteful mood. Really, what I want to do is I just want to share my opinion. Like Hal White, he shares his opinion through his blog post, through his Fish Strong website, and through my YouTube channel, I would like to share my own opinion. And a matter of fact, I think a lot of what Hal White has got going on in Fish Strong is pretty cool, actually. I really enjoy reading some of his articles, some of his reviews on some of the new iCast products. I actually find some of the products he chose to review were very unique, some things that just kind of are underestimated in the iCast world. But again, we're not talking about that today. We're going to be talking about some of his personal blog posts. Now, before I begin, I gotta put on something real quick. Hold on. Alright, there we go. Now that I've got this hat on, I should be good to go. Wait, hold on. I got one more thing. Alright, cool. Now that I've got my hat on and my jersey, I can begin. So basically, what I want to do today is give my 2 cents on some of his blog posts. And like I said, I do not disrespect or mean any ill manner towards Hal White. What I really want to do is just kind of get my opinion on this. So first of all, a friend of mine told me about Fish Strong, the website, the other day. He will remain unnamed. And what I originally thought was, I read a few articles. I thought it was kind of funny at first. And the more and more I read, the more and more that actually bothered me. I just couldn't put my finger on it. I just didn't really understand why it bothered me. And I finally kind of clicked to me. And the more and more articles I read, the first one I read, first of all, was the 30%er. I thought that was kind of witty. I thought that was kind of interesting. But the Facebook one kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And then some of the ones were just getting a little too personal almost. To me, when you're going to be running a website like this, like Fish Strong or Wired to Fish, which first of all, I can tell Hal White is just not approving of. He does not like wired to plug, he calls it. When you run a website like this, you can't get personal like that with people, I feel like. And I run into idiots every day, and I run into people who will disagree with me and so-called haters. And you can't give them the time of day. You really can't give them any leeway or any slack. And they're just the people out there who are trying to stir things up. And in my opinion, I feel like that's kind of what Hal White's doing. Not directly towards me. I don't think he's probably... Now he's going to see this. He probably hasn't seen any of my videos beforehand. But I feel like he's that kind of guy. So what I kind of want to base it off of, this whole video off of, is some of the Facebook posts. I was reading some of these, and even though he blocked out the faces and the names of the people, he was kind of pointing some fingers and kind of making fun of some people. Right, these people are, a little goofy, a little strange that, they're talking about their sponsorships and they're not fishing really any tournaments, and it just is it's kind of strange if you think about it. But to me, it seems unprofessional to single someone out, even though, you've crossed out their names and technically, legally, from a standpoint of legality, it's fine to post these on the internet. But the people, who do go on Fish Strong know that this is them. I've just seen some people say that, that's me, who have commented in the Facebook. But I just think it's I think it's a little disrespectful in a way. And I understand what Hal White's going for. I understand that he is trying to make a point. He is trying to make a point that fishing industry is dead, and that fishing is now all about the cash money, all about the sponsors, all about the hype, or the sizzle, as he calls it. And in a way, I agree with him, but I think there's a better approach to this. I find it very disrespectful that he picks out some of these people who are, are getting a little too hyped up on some of their sponsors and things like that. Like me right here. So, but again, it's. I understand that he's trying to be funny, but I think he takes it a little too far sometimes, and I don't condone it at all. I don't think I would ever do this to someone. These people, there are a few people you can make the argument that they think it's funny because they're making, Hal's making fun of them, and they recognize that, oh, it's a joke, but it's, it's just like one of those things that not all people think that way. So the Facebook thing in general is kind of an issue for me. I don't think it's a good approach to market and to throw yourself out there in the fishing world using other people's silly or ridiculous statuses to boost your demographics and your views on your page. It just seems kind of cheap, and it just seems kind of, I don't know, unfair, really. Because, it's not like you're taking, I don't know. It's just, I don't think it's a good approach. I think it's rude. I don't like it at all. But it's his choice. He can do whatever he wants. Now, another thing I want to touch base on is his whole ideology on basically how you dress. It represents how you fish. And if you've noticed, that's why I put this on. I put my jersey on. I put my flat brim hat on, which actually is from 1976. This is a Ranger Classic hat. And so, that's also touching base on the fact that these flat bill hats aren't the new age. And I think that's kind of what he's trying to get at here, is all these new anglers out there think, the flat bill hat is like all the new hype now, because you got to wear a flat bill hat. And if you've got a rat boat with a flat bill hat, you're basically this big doofus who is just all hype, pretty much. I'm not the flat bill type. I'm not the kind of guy who wears hats all like this. But again, I don't look at someone and say, oh, that guy wears a flat bill hat. He must be one of those anglers. And I think it's kind of silly that he bases what an individual wears and mirrors it to their fishing ability. And to me, that's almost... That's judging a book by its cover. That's judging a book by its cover. Is in first grade old fashioned terms, and I think it's unprofessional. Again, I think it's dumb. I think it's stupid. And I think that what he's saying doesn't just really correlate from. I see some people understanding what he's saying, but to me it doesn't correlate to how you dress affects how you fish. And I get that some of these guys who just don't know what they're talking about, these guys who have no idea what they're doing when they're out in the water, wear some of this. They wear the jersey, they've got the rat boat, they've got the flat bill hat. But there's a lot of guys out there who dress like your old-fashioned enthusiast who don't know a lick worth of fishing as well. So I don't understand how that, I get what he's saying. It's funny, it's silly, it's a joke, but it's also stupid. I don't think it's in any way or shape or form respectful, think about it. Some 11-year-old, 12-year-old kid's wearing a flat bill hat, reading this article or watching your video, and then he's going to think that, oh, well, now I can't wear this thing because this guy who has his own website, who's, the big guy on campus, who has a bunch of followers, says that if you wear a flat bill hat, you can't become you're basically the 30%, So I think that's totally wrong, totally inaccurate, and I don't agree with it at all. Okay, so I've now touched base on the Facebook portion, his Facebook rants on his website, and I've also talked about some of his opinions and insight on what you wear is how you fish. The other one that I think is that really just rubs me the wrong way is his opinion on high school fishing, and how basically, if you're a teenager and if you're someone in high school who fishes some of these tournaments out there in this state's position. I don't fish ISHA, but in this state's position, kids who fish ISHA don't even expect to make it pro. Don't even expect to go out there and make a job out of fishing. I think that is probably one of the worst things you can say to a person, or just a kid too, a teenager. Coming from, I'm 18, but I think if someone said that to me, if I was like 16 or 15 when I started getting into fishing, I'd have been, devastated. I think that's really, really the wrong way to go, the wrong direction. If you're all about, bringing back the industry of old, what fishing used to be, per se. I mean, what you really are saying in most of these articles is that the industry is dead, and that what you see nowadays is Major League Fishing, which is just a bunch of garbage in your opinion. And I don't think it's the best thing on earth, and I've never watched it, but I don't think it's a bunch of garbage. And that all these pros nowadays are just, they're a bunch of, what they say is a bunch of baloney besides a few others. I know you respect some anglers out there. I respect some anglers too. I think some are a little hyped up too, and I agree with you on that point. But I think telling a kid especially, that they shouldn't even consider a career in the fishing industry is the most absurd thing I've ever heard. And backtracking a little bit, and what you said about change around the industry. In my opinion, if you want to go back to what fishing used to be, what bass fishing used to be, what some of the old classics used to be, wouldn't you want to almost kind of get the kids nowadays to change that? Because the kids you're talking to, the high school kids you're talking to, could be the kids that could change the bass fishing industry and could possibly become a tournament director, the head of BAS. I mean, who you're talking to is the future of bass fishing. And just because our professional anglers, our elite series anglers nowadays are like that, doesn't mean the generation before that is going to be the same way. And you could totally be just stomping on what brings professional bass fishing back to life, in my opinion. And I do agree with you. I think the Elite Series, and I think FLW, Bassmat, I think some of it just has gotten a little out of hand. But if you think it's gotten out of hand, and wouldn't you want to take a positive approach to all of this? What you're saying is basically there's no hope. That basically, your blog mainly focuses on the negative portion of fishing, but never really says anything about how fishing can be positive, how we can get it back on track. You just basically talk about and basically rant about how crappy it is. And what's the point of that? There's no use in that. You're not going to get anywhere with that, and I think it's the wrong direction. I think it's one of the most unprofessional things to do to say that to an audience geared toward high school anglers. I don't expect, and again, I'm not saying you can't tell me because I'm going to become the next KVD. I don't expect to professionally fish at all. I actually want to take a career in fish hatchery and wildlife. That's what I want to do. So I'm not getting on a personal level here. I'm just saying all those other kids. I'm speaking for the high school anglers that you are writing to, and I think that by saying that, you're discouraging what may be the next generation of bass fishing and what could be. I don't know. I think your blog's great. I think you've got some really great points, but you have a lot of flaws in what you say. You just gotta be careful what you say, honestly. And I think you should know that. I mean, I can tell you are a very, very bright guy, man. You've got your marbles. You know what you're talking about. You know fishing. You know how to write. But I don't think you know how to approach a certain audience, and I don't think you know exactly what FishStrong is. I don't know if you know what you're even doing with this. I don't even know what you're doing with this whole FishStrong thing. I think you're just throwing ideas out, And if people did that, if people just threw what they thought out in their head, they wouldn't be successful, and it wouldn't encourage the positive portion of fishing or topic in general. So I think it's time that I wrap up this video. I'm done throwing my 2 cents in. I'm done, just venting out to all my viewers out there. And I want to leave on this note by saying, Hal White, I wish you the best of luck. I hope FishStrong excels, and I hope it gets on the right track, because it's off the rails right now. I don't even, I think half your website is on the rails, and I think it's great, and I think it's positive, and I think it makes sense, and it's great. You're a very intelligent guy. Your articles are very well written. I mean, you probably don't care coming from an 18-year-old kid, but this is my opinion to you, and I in no way, shape, or form disrespect you, and I do not dislike you at all. But I think your mindset and ideas are flawed, and I disagree with them pretty much 100%. Coming from the personal side of your blog. The facts and everything else that you post and write about, equipment, totally agree with that. Love it. I think it's awesome. But I think you have to think about what you're doing and what you're saying before it comes out of your mind and onto the keyboard. I think sometimes, or even when you're making videos, because I don't know. I think it's great what you're doing, and like I said, I wish you the best of luck. And I would like to end on that note. And one more thing, if you haven't read Mike Iaconelli's book, Fishing on the Edge, Hal, I think you love it. I know you're all about the guys out there who are just really, really in the zone with fishing, and Mike Iaconelli is one of those guys, just no hype at all. So I think maybe you should check him out. I don't know if you've heard of him or anything like that or read this book, but this is definitely right up your alley. So check it out. Let me know how the read is, and maybe get back with me on a review or something like that in a blog post. I'm hoping to see maybe a blog post here in a little bit. Be kind of cool on the FishStrong page. Anyways, good fishing, tight lines. Best of luck. Catch you later, Hal, and thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time on Fishing the Midwest.